Sit down, right there, don't go nowhere, little baby gon' shake that, 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 shit, yeah, I like that, bring that, right here, sit that, right there, don't go nowhere, say yeah, I like that, bring that, right here, sit that, right there, don't go nowhere, little baby gon'.
What up, YouTube? We back with another reaction video. Today we are reacting to Beyond the Fame, Lil Marlo, the brutal life taking of Lil Baby's best friend, Atlanta Gang Wars. Let's get right into it.
Homicide numbers in the city of Atlanta are the highest they've been in 30 years. According to APD's Week 52 crime report, the department investigated at least 156 homicides.
It was a violent night in Atlanta. 4 people were shot at 2 separate locations hours apart from each other, leaving 1 person dead.
Breaking news, another busy overnight for Metro Atlanta police. We're tracking at least 5 shootings, 4 of them turning deadly.
1 person is dead and many more are recovering from their injuries after yet another violent weekend in Atlanta.
71,000, the number of confirmed gang affiliates across Georgia, according to the Attorney General's office. Some of them now in suburban Atlanta.
Georgia lawmakers say that gangs are growing and the problem is at a crisis, so much that Governor Kemp addressed it at the top of his speech.
Dangerous street gangs are flooding our communities with drugs, weapons, violence, and fear.
Are going to find you, we are going to convict you, and we're going to send you to the prison for the rest of your days.
Gangs, here's the message, get out. That is directly coming from Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis.
People move down here, go straight to Buckhead, and swear like they taking over Atlanta. Like, hell no. Bro, you ain't coming in the heart of Atlanta, then you ain't coming to Atlanta, you feel me? Bankhead, like Simpson, the Bluff, Zone 6, Glenwood, Oakland City, you ain't going nowhere, so yeah, we got the whole city playing for keep. The whole city playing for keep. Yeah, this playing for keep city.
I mean, talk about your relationship with Baby. And y'all brother. Putting it down for the city, man.
Yeah, that's my little brother.
Yeah.
Like, loving them.
Yeah.
That who was just on the phone with me. You know
That was in that music video?
2 peas in the pot.
Well, him and Lil Baby were real close, right?
Hell yeah. For sure.
Him and Lil Baby came as a package deal. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all already see what Lil Baby doing. Y'all see what he doing. This young nigga the future, I believe in him, and we just grinding, man.
They ain't my niggas no more. Hold it down for the fool. In the 9 with the wolves. Marlo my daughters for sure.
Rudolph Johnson Jr., aka Lil Marlo, or Young Rude, was born on May 1st, 1990 in Atlanta, Georgia. He came up in the Bankhead neighborhood of Atlanta, the Bowen Home Projects, known for being one of the most drug-infested and violent projects in the city. Growing up, Lil Marlo faced the same exact thing that a large number of young black kids across America and inner cities face every day: poverty and a lack of options. Mix that in with the uncertainty of not knowing where his next meal was coming from, and Marlo felt like he only had one way out in order to make money, and that was to hit the streets. As a kid coming up in Bowen Homes, he watched Atlanta legend Shorty Low hold down the projects. He had the money, the women, the flyest cars. He was the epitome of a hood celebrity. Seeing that inspired Marlo, he wanted the same, and when he decided to hit the streets, he was 10 toes down in the trenches. He set out to duplicate the success of his idol Shorty Low and began his rise in the streets. Marlo told a story about dealing with hard times as a kid in the projects, and he prayed to God that he would be the chosen one, the one to get his family out of poverty, get to the money, rise to the top of the drug game, and become a West Side legend.
I take a whole side of town. So, you know, when I step over there, I'm God. When I pray, I used to be like, God, let me be the one that everybody call on, you feel me? Let me be the one to help people.
Yeah.
I want to be that guy to, to help people.
Yeah.
Just off the love.
What you heard, God blessing all the trap niggas. God blessing all the trap niggas. When you wake up.
Marlo jumped off the porch at an early age, and even as a youngin', his name was ringing bells. Bowen Homes was an extremely dangerous place, but for Marlo, it was all love. But change was on the horizon. The place that he called home would be demolished in 2009 after a string of murders. Marlo would pack up and head straight to the 9th Ward, Adamsville, another area known for being extremely violent, and shootings are a normal occurrence. A few different gangs had a stronghold on the area, in particular GF, or Goodfellas Mob, and 21 Slaughter Gang. It's said that they're affiliated with the SMM Blood set. It was also the place that well-known Atlanta street figure No Plug called home. They can all be seen hanging on the block in the 9th Ward with the young 21 Savage before the fame. Lil Marlo was down with the Goodfellas Mob, who was known for having older members in their crew. Under their guidance, he would continue to sharpen his skills for the streets. But eventually, Lil Marlo and a few other younger members decided to start their own subset called PFK, Play for Keeps, also known as 3L, 3 Letters, or Perp Gang. They modeled themselves after the Goodfellas Mob with a mafia-style ranking system that had soldiers as well as capos, and Marlo was the top boss, the Don. His name, Young Rude, started to ring out in the streets of Atlanta. He finally reached his dream of being able to provide for his family financially and his hood on the west side. The same way he used to watch Shorty Low run the Bowen Homes when he was a kid, now he was in charge and became the 9th Ward God. The name Lil Marlo came from how he moved. A lot of the older street hustlers that he hung around with said that he reminded them of a legendary hustler from their projects who was affiliated with Shorty Low, and he also went by the name of Marlo.
Just an OG from my hood. They say I move like, so like the street just started calling me Marlo. Just really paying homage to him. I got his name, taking the name on, you feel me?
The more Lil Marlo's clout rose in the city, the more connections he began to make. He used to only deal with people directly from his hoods on the west side, but getting to the street money opened up his social circle, and eventually he would connect with a fellow young hustler who came from a different hood, Dominique Jones, aka Lil Baby, representing Oakland City, 4PF, or 4 Pockets Full. They're known to be locked in with the rolling 60s Crips out of Los Angeles, and they're also known for getting a lot of money around Atlanta. As soon as Marlo met Lil Baby, they instantly formed a bond, and over the years, they would become brothers. Whenever you seen Baby, you would see Marlo, and vice versa, driving exotic cars through the hood while being flush with cash, neighborhood superstars, and a known dynamic duo in the city. The respect Marlo garnered in the streets over the years also put him in contact with another well-known figure in the city, Rashard Hosley, aka Big Bank, the CEO of Duct Tape Entertainment, an East Atlanta legend and the creator of Zone 6 Day. He knew how he was getting down in the streets and how he was getting to the money, but he also knew that it was a legal way for Marlo to get the bag without being in the game taking penitentiary chances. The more they would kick it, the more Big Bank would tell Marlo that he needs to think about becoming a rapper. He would quickly dismiss the idea due to the fact that he had no desire to become a rapper and he never spit a verse in his entire life. Big Bank told Marlo that he was a star. He could tell by the way that he carried himself, and he was already living the life that most rappers could only dream about. As time went on, Marlo would continue to get deeper in the streets, while Big Bank would continue to try to convince him to leave the streets and go legit. But Marlo wasn't trying to hear it. The streets had become a part of his DNA. He had grown an addiction to the lifestyle, an addiction to the money.
What was the hardest thing to let go from the streets?
That money,
The money.
The money.
We were just having a conversation, and he like, bro, I'm telling you, a star, man. You alright? You know what I mean? The cars I drive, the clothes I wear, and the money I carry, and all that shit.
Big Bank came up with a plan in order to get Marlo to see that he could have a future as a rapper. He called him and told him that he had some business to handle in East Atlanta, and he wanted Marlo to roll with him. But as they were driving, he noticed that they were pulling up to a studio. He didn't think much of it because he knew Big Bank was into the music world. being the CEO of Duct Tape Entertainment. Once they got inside, Bank told Marlo to pick a beat. He didn't understand why he was asking him, but chose the best one that he heard. And that's when Bank told him, alright, now go into the booth and lay down a verse over this track. Marlo resisted. He kept telling Bank that he didn't want to rap, but eventually everyone in the studio convinced him. After listening to the playback of his first verse, he was impressed. He sounded a lot better than he thought he would. He was so excited he called up Lil Baby and told him that he had just made his first song. Lil Baby was surprised by this because him and Marlo never talked about becoming rappers. But hearing what his friend had created motivated him, and that's when he devoted himself to making music and never looked back. Being a mainstay at the Quality Control studio as early as 2015 due to his street ties in Atlanta, QC's co-founder Kevin Lee, aka Coach K, had already been trying to get Lil Baby to become a rapper, telling him that he had the look and the style. He was a star already, he just had to put it into music. Just like Big Bank had been trying to tell Marlo, the only difference is, Lil Baby started to hit the studio religiously, learning and working on his craft under established Atlanta artists like Young Thug and Gunna. After laying his first verse in early 2016, an entire year would go by before Marlo would even think about rapping again. The streets were being very good to him. He seen no need to switch it up, and his gang PFK had motion in the city. But things were starting to change around this time as well. Marlo's home turf of the 9th Ward was being overran by law enforcement due to the heavy drug trafficking and numerous murders. PFK, 21 Slaughter Gang, and Goodfellas Mob had a stronghold on the Allen Temple housing projects in the 9, but it was getting too hot. In early 2017, rapper Saw Baby released a music video for his song Pull Up With a Stick. It was filmed in the heart of the 9th Ward and would go viral due to the large number of young teenagers holding assault rifles in the video. It got the attention of federal law enforcement and would ultimately contribute to the fall of the 9th Ward, as well as countless other housing projects around Atlanta, forcing gang members to migrate throughout the city, creating new alliances and new enemies. Marlo witnessed how his brother Lil Baby was starting to get traction in the music world, ultimately signing a deal with Quality Control. Due to his ties with Lil Baby, Marlo began to spend a lot of time around QC as well, even though he still wasn't serious about music. He had potential and would lay a verse here or there, but he was still 1 foot in music and 1 foot in the streets. Until one day at the studio, he happened to have a conversation with Jeffrey Williams, aka Young Thug, one of the biggest rap stars to ever come out of Atlanta. He seen the potential that Marlo had musically, but he was also well aware of his reputation in the streets and knew that if he continued, it probably wouldn't end well.
Baby, he most stayed in the studio, practice, then put some out. I might be gone, doing whatever I'm doing. And Young Thug, like, he my man too, you feel me? Like, Thug will sit down and talk to you like he the preacher. No Slam just tell me like one day, hey man, this Marlo, it's a sacrifice. It's either you want to do that or you want to do that. God ain't gonna let you do both of them.
Marlo knew that Young Thug had a point, and besides that, his reputation started to precede him in the streets. He was being connected to incidents that he may have had nothing to do with, such as the March 4th, 2016 death of rising Atlanta rapper Bankroll Fresh. The incident occurred at Street Exec Studios in Atlanta. It started off as a fight between former friends Bankroll Fresh and No Plug, who was known to run heavy with Marlo and PFK. They were once very close, but issues over a woman drove a wedge between Bankroll and No Plug. It resulted in them getting into a fight that night at the studio, and a standoff occurred outside. Bankroll Fresh could be seen on camera holding an assault rifle, and he fired a shot at the vehicle No Plug was in. Multiple rounds would be fired at Bankroll Fresh and his crew, with one of those rounds hitting him in the hip, ultimately causing his death. Even though law enforcement deemed it as self-defense and a justifiable homicide, it said that it still caused tension in the streets of Atlanta. It was initially assumed that No Plug was the one responsible, especially after his viral DJ Vlad interview. But rumors began to spread that Lil Marlo was the one behind Bankroll Fresh's death, especially after a video surfaced of 21 Savage, No Plug, and Lil Marlo in the club. and 21 told No Plug to announce that he was the one who killed Bankroll Fresh, and all three of them started to laugh hysterically. Others say that this is completely false, and that it was a different man who was also from the 9th Ward that fired the fatal shots. He goes by the name of Little Blue, a known shooter from the 9th Ward neighborhood and a member of the Rude Unit gang. Lil Marlo was also accused of robbing well-known Atlanta plug Hood Rich Pablo on multiple occasions. They were cool at a certain time, but tension in the streets would change things.
It's not funny, bro, but like how you get robbed by the same nigga multiple times? Bro, what?
And ultimately, Marlo would take aim at his former associate. But he had a path to make it out of the streets with music. And Lil Baby would make the path even more clear after he convinced Pierre P. Thomas and Coach K to sign Lil Marlo to QC. The duo hit the studio, and in late 2017, they released their joint album To the Hard Way. Lil Marlo would follow that up with his solo debut on QC called The Wire. He finally started to take his craft and his career as a rapper seriously, and he became dedicated to growing his fan base, starting in his home city of Atlanta and beyond.
Man, I'm in my venue Friday, man. Showing up, showing out, man. You know, we playing for keeps around this bitch, you dig? Come on, lady, that's it. Hey, man, Saturday, April the 8th.
Sunday, bro. Let's go.
Try to restart that motherfucker.
Sunday, April the 8th. I'm going crazy in the Blue Room. I'm taking over the whole east side. I need all my real niggas in my bag to come support the kid. You did? Knife World God out right now. Go get shot in the Rio. Damn, what the that nigga, man? Come on, man. We going to motherfucking Diamond tonight. I mean, next Thursday. We going to crazy. Yo ain't act like y'all not do no motherfucking drop. Do the motherfucking drop, right? Come on, bro.
Marlo would become even more motivated watching his homie Lil Baby go on a historic run in rap, dropping hit after hit, with songs such as All of a Sudden featuring Moneybagg Yo, the classic Lil Baby freestyle, Southside, and Yes Indeed featuring Drake. It was obvious that Lil Baby was becoming one of the biggest stars in rap, and Lil Marlo was right by his side. They could be seen in multiple music videos wearing chains representing each other's cliques, with Lil Baby wearing Play for Keeps, and Lil Marlo representing Four Pockets Full. But he was creating his own path as well. He hit the studio and in 2018 would release 2 mixtapes, 9th Ward God paying homage to his hood, and the mixtape The Real One, which had the streets buzzing. He was connected to one of the hottest artists in the world, and he was on one of the top labels in the rap game. There was no way that Lil Marlo could lose. He went from doing local shows in Atlanta to rocking stages all over the country. Marlo's path to success was clear, as well as a way to make legal money in order to provide for his family. But he forgot the advice that Young Thug gave to him earlier in his career, that you can't have one foot in the streets and one foot in the music business. Unfortunately, Marlo would continue to be stifled by his addiction to the streets. He also had to deal with the death of his idol and street mentor, Shorty Low.
Talk about Shawty Low though, man. Being from Born Homes with it.
My hood cried a river.
Exactly.
I mean, my hood still crying about that.
What does Shawty Low mean to you? I know you're from Bowen Homes.
Big dog. I wish he was still here to see me doing it. I'll tell that shit right here, like R.I.P. Shawty Low. I got that shit on. Streets all I know. I've been in the streets all my life. I ain't never thought to myself that I'm gonna get a streets up. Streets like crack to me, you feel me? Like, just imagine a crackhead trying to get out of crack instantly. He ain't gonna never do that, you feel me?
Cool. And you made your name in the streets here on the west side of Atlanta before you ever started rapping.
For sure.
What's the transition been like for you going from the streets to rap?
Long nights. Long nights.
Did you ever think your little brother was gonna be a superstar? Storm shit. I did. We didn't know who. I woke up like this. I do what it was. Yeah,
Marlo
Marlo
was getting money in the streets of Atlanta for a long time, but his bag was even bigger now that he was down with QC and affiliated with Lil Baby. It's said that Marlo was using his elevated finances as a way to empower his gang, PFK. When they first started around 2015, they were one of the more well-respected and well-liked gangs around the city. But by 2020, they had a reputation of being cutthroat, shiesty, and extremely violent. Marlo described himself as the mob boss of PFK. He knew that a lot of enemies came with being the top dog, but he also knew that his reputation rang out in the streets as well, and his opposition would definitely think twice before stepping. But even when Marlo was trying to conduct legit business, he still had to stay on point no matter what, always on the lookout for ops.
If I was doing anything else, I'm gonna go hard at. Like, if I had to goddamn pick up trash every day, I'm trying to be the best at picking up trash, you feel me? Where my fire, baby? Sometimes I might be in that mood. Sometimes I might be in that mood. I was just telling him, like, I hate being in my little NBA YoungBoy mood. You make you want to kill people.
It's said that Marlo started moving like a bully in the streets, running off on suppliers, taking people's work, and putting bags on people's heads for the smallest reasons. They turned up the heat and started warring all over the city, even falling out with cliques that they once had alliances with, such as 21 Slaughter Gang and GF Goodfellas Mob, who Marlo was with in the 9th Ward back in the day. But petty beef and street politics would get in the way, causing tension between the crews. PFK did have a few allies, such as Henchman 5L, with their most prominent member being Atlanta rapper Ola Runt. They're known for having an ongoing and violent beef with Homicide DTE. It's well documented that they have close ties and affiliations to rap superstar Playboi Carti. Both of the gangs are said to be blood sets, but that hasn't stopped the ongoing rivalry between the two. Play for Keeps was also clicked up with YFN, with their most prominent member being YFN Lucci. They have a close affiliation with the Rolling 60s Crips out of Los Angeles, and they're known for beefing with Young Thug and YSL.
Okay, yeah, this is a lot. They mess with everybody who don't mess with each other. That was part one of Lil Marlo's passing, right? An Atlanta Gang War documentary, basically, by Beyond the Fame. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the video, share your thoughts on the video in the comment section below. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Stay safe, y'all.
I'm a cowboy, can't stop me, ain't to live is to come. All this pain got me feeling the comments. See these games turn me into a monster. Hey, I'm a cowboy, can't stop, I'm to live is to come. All this pain got me feeling the comments. See these games turn me into a monster. I'm a cowboy, can't stop, can't stop. Hey, all that pain got me feeling jaded. Many with your road when to make it. Feel plugged into the mix, but lagging out before the update. Drop back in, different time, same location.